Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 28th, 2025. It's another crisp frost morning this morning. Looks like we're going to get some rain for a few days, not today and I don't think tomorrow. But we'll have a few days of rain coming after that. So we'll see. I was hoping that the guys would show up today. I'll have to call them. I hate to be a pest, but it's hell not knowing what their plans are with getting things done. And maybe it's a blessing because I did the patching day before yesterday on the roof. And it might be worthwhile getting some more rain to see, geez, did I get the right places? Even though I measured and I only got a couple small pieces left. And I hate to order more of that ice and gray. It takes about a week to get it in. It's a special order item. None of the places around carry it in stock. And it's so darn expensive. So anyways, I think one of the things I'm going to do today, I need to sort through boards. So I got to clean up this end over here and this end over here, get those two 2x6s down over there, decide what I'm going to do with some of this other lumber and all. I have work to do, so I have plywood, I have this and all, and I'm just sort of thinking as I'm going through this. So one of the things I need to do is dig out the pressure treated lumber I've got here for my jacks, to be able to finish framing out my overhead doors, which I've mentioned before, and my entrance doors. So all of the entry exit doors, including overhead doors and my entrance doors, my 36-inch doors, I need to get some pressure treated lumber to do the rough openings so I can get the doors installed. The other thing I want to do before too long, so when this video posts, there'll be a video about me getting up and showing in the trusses the additional truss supports that need to go up there. So one of the things I want to do is get some more of the boards marked and ready to go up there so that I can get those additional truss supports, at least the boards up there to start out with. And that's something I'll have to do when I've got someone else to help me with. Like for instance, two people could get the boards up into the side areas there without too much trouble. But I want to do it before we get the plywood up on there in case the Amish can put the plywood up. And I don't know that they will be able to do it. That might be something they can come in the winter months to do. But I want to get all of my permanent bracing set. Now they're already set as far as what the engineering specs had, but I don't think that they're adequate to last lifetimes. So I want to get those additional ones and just refer to a video that probably posted 2 days ago to understand what I'm talking about. So getting sorting out that lumber and sorting out the lumber that's going to be the jacks over there, getting those set to the side so that I can get them up in there, in those locations, would be very helpful. And it'd be great if they can get actually nailed in. It wouldn't take long to nail them in, but you really want to have everything spaced properly. And hopefully all of these are spaced properly, along the bottom cords here, because that'll save some work there as well. But all of the diagonal bracing and the vertical bracing, and then we're going to have bracing that's going to go sideways and to the gable ends. So, and that's going to take quite a few 2x4s to do that. So I got to see how many I've got, how many more I'm going to need, and get that all planned. So, and then I'll probably set the receptacles for the lighting up there and then do the wiring so I can at least get lighting in here during the winter months. So hopefully that all makes sense. So I'm just going to start by trying to organize some of this stuff at each end of the building here, get those two 2x6s out completely and sort through the lumber. So that's where I'm going to start.
That old wood pile ain't just junk and dust. It's stories stacked in iron with rust. A broken gate, a splintered beam. To some it's trash, to me it's a dream. I see a bench, I see a shed, a future where folks see the past instead. A crack don't mean the value's gone, it just takes hands to carry on. I reuse it, repurpose, give it new soul. Turn the scrap heap into something whole. If it's got life, I'll find the spark, make it shine where others see dark. If I can't use it, I'll upcycle instead. Paint it, fix it, bring it back from the dead. And if it's done, I still won't curse. I'll recycle it, send it back to the earth. That tin roof's bent and worn with time, but patch it right, it still keeps fine. Old hinges, screws, a busted chair, there's beauty hiding everywhere. Why buy new when the past still sings? Why waste the weight that wisdom brings? There's pride in saving what you can, and that's how you walk like a mindful man. I reuse it, repurpose, give it new soul. Turn the scrap heap into something whole. If it's got life, I'll find the spark, make it shine where others see dark. If I can't use it, I'll upcycle instead. Paint it, fix it, bring it back from the dead. And if it's done, I still won't curse. I'll recycle it, send it back to the earth. This land don't need more waste and greed, it needs more hands that plant the seed. Old fence wire makes a sturdy trellis, and every reused story is worth it to tell us. I reuse it, repurpose, honor what's worn, build something better than what was born. With a little work and a lot of heart, even broken things could play a part. If I can't fix it, I'll still find a way to give it back with thanks today. That's how we live, it's how we serve, reuse, upcycle, and give the land what it deserves. In the garden where I sow, seeds of hope begin to grow. Every effort, every care brings the fruits of love to share. With the earth beneath my hands, I nurture life, I make my plans for the harvest, for the gain. From the sunshine, from the rain, obtain a yield, reap what you sow. From the fields, let abundance flow. Work with nature side by side. In her bounty we take pride. Obtain a yield, let it be a gift of life for you and me. In the cycles of the year, seasons change, the yield is near. Every blossom, every vine, promises of food and wine. From the smallest seed we tend to the harvest journey's end. In the labor joy is found as we gather from the ground. Obtain a yield, reap what you sow. From the fields let abundance flow. Work with nature side by side. In her bounty we take pride. Obtain a yield, let it be a gift of life for you and me. In the sweat and in the toil we find the richness of the soil. Every effort, every hand shapes the bounty of the land. Obtain a yield, reap what you sow. From the fields let abundance flow. Work with nature side by side. In her bounty we take pride. Obtain a yield, let it be a gift of life for you and me. In the harvest we give thanks for the fields, the trees, the banks. Obtain a yield, a precious prize in nature's grace. Our future lies.
Okay, just finished lunch and coming back out to get started again. I did some organizing, getting some of the almost the 23-30 seconds cut off ends of plywood over here. There'll be different projects that I end up using those materials for. And the short stubby 2x6s and 2x4s that were over there, I brought over here. Got the 2x6s off of there, got the nails and screws out of those. Got the wood picked up from over here, some put in buckets and the rest put over here. And so most of these will get cut up and be used for some of the starting firewood and all this stuff too. So I just got done taking some of the scrap 1/2-inch plywood and the guys, they don't use table saws and they don't use track saws. They'll chalk a line, and each one of them has variable skills as far as staying right on the line, so the edges are a little wavy. So in order to get some true 1.5 wide plywood, 1.5 by 1/2-inch plywood, and getting nice straight edges with it, which I'm going to use, and I'll explain that in a moment. It took a couple of attempts to go ahead and cut them. You have to cut off the high spots a couple of times before you get a nice true straight edge that I can get the 1.5 inch. So there's some waste over there, but that'll get chopped up along with those boards and probably all my 1x4s. Those were all brand new. Those are going to be all the trim for the building over here, the apartment area. But none of that's going to happen now. So I took a big load out to the Who culture pit out there that's filled with water right now. And then these are the 2x6x16s that I had to dig out, and these are the pressure treated boards. A lot of them are used, but I'll be reusing them. And they were all over here in this pile. So what I'm going to do next, well, let me explain this. So is there a doorway over here? Yes, over here we can show. So what I'm going to do is cut 2x6s for each of these door openings, the overhead doors and the 36-inch entrance door. So a pressure treated 2x6 will go up against here, and since it was already the 2x6 wasn't put up before the plywood sheathing was put up. Is the camera showing this? Before the plywood sheathing was put up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the 2x6 to be flush with the outside of here, and then take the little 1.5 inch pieces of plywood to bring up this internal surface here. So we want this to be nice and solid for mounting the door to. So that's the plan there. So same thing here as well. So that's one of the things I'm going to do is try and piece together some of these 6x6s and see if I can get them all set. And then later on I'll attach, because there'll be one more here, I'll attach the 1/2-inch plywood to the inner surface here. So that's the plan anyways. We'll see how everything is. I've got to dress up the ends on these boards, and then we'll go from there. So that's the plan. Okay, I nearly forgot to record this, but I had gotten a request to see how I would typically cut out a doorway or a window using a router as opposed to using a circular saw. The Amish used a circular saw to cut out the doorway here after sheathing. So when you're putting the plywood on, you can actually sheathe the entire wall, including completely covering up the window or the door, or using partial sheets as they did to partially cover up the door and all. And what they did was they used a circular saw. Now ideally, if you're going to use a circular saw, you'd go ahead and put a chalk line there to see just where you are, and that way there you can stay right along the margin of the stud that's there, the door jamb. But these weren't done great. Here, I'll show you here. So right up there you can see the plywood hangs down from the door jamb, the header up there. I just got done doing a flush cut here. Here you can see where they used a circular saw. I just peeled the Tyvek back. So I'm just using my little battery operated DeWalt router. This is a panel, a flush panel bit, I believe is what it's called. It's got a small bearing, ball bearing here on the end of it, and this will just, so the bearing will run right up against the stud itself, or the door jamb. And this is a small one. I should have a larger one than this, but I bought a kit and this is the one that came. So I'll get one that's a little bit longer than this so that can go like a full inch. And as long as you've got a flat, smooth surface on the outer surface of your plywood or OSB, whatever it may be, and you go clockwise, it's really important to go in a clockwise direction as you're using this router. And I'll see if I can demonstrate that in a moment. I just did the side here, but remember, go clockwise. Now you can use, I think it's a plunge flush bit as well, to cut out doorways and windows. This is the one that my other one was one I used in the past, but that got destroyed, so I ended up buying a small kit. This one's a little bit too small, but it'll just barely do the job. Now, one of the things that I'd say is, like, they put the Tyvek on here, and it's okay to actually leave the Tyvek on. I pulled it back some, but when I did the other door over there, as I was moving along, the staples that they put in next to the door itself raised it up a little bit, and that can cause problems as well. So you really want a smooth, flat surface that you're running the router over, and you want to keep the wide part to the outside of the jamb, the narrow part towards the inside of the opening. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll see if I can record this and not mess this up, the overhead part. So you should inspect it first. So I see, actually I'll show you what it looks like so far. Again, it's really important to go clockwise when you're doing this. And so you can see I worked right up, and it's right flush, nice and smooth. Is this camera showing? Nice and smooth going over here. Then all of a sudden I get a bump because I hit that. I didn't touch the nail with the router itself, but it started changing the angle of the instead of it being perpendicular, it started to go ahead and make it come down. That's why it shut it off, put some torque on that motor. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that nailed and finish this. And when they're just blindly doing this, you know, I'll show you another thing here as well. When they're blindly doing this, you know, they can just miss the spots. It's, you know, that's very acceptable. And the sun's right around here. And I'd say completely pull the nail if you can, like I just did. And I'll finish this and I'll show you we're missing nailers as well. So that's something I got to do all over the building, which I talked to Henry about, but you're always in a rush, unfortunately. Okay, so that's my preferred method for cutting out doorways and windows. It just does a nice smooth flush finish edge, and that way there, when you're installing the window or the door, there isn't that little bit of plywood sticking down and all. And you should always check for nails sticking down in there before you start to do your doorway or put the Tyvek on as well. And I would say put your staples in 4 inches away from the interface of the door jamb, but it's okay to put them all along the inner surface here, which they did do. They did this one right, the other one not so great. I'll show you one more thing. So when you're framing, it's really important to think about when you're going to do your drywall, or in this case it's going to be plywood. So right now we could put a sheet of plywood right across here without any problem, but you see there's no surface to nail to here. So there should be either a 2x4 or a 2x6 scabbed onto this inner surface here, and that just sticks out 1.5 inches here, and that's a nailer for when you put this on. Same thing along, well, I'll show you this as well. See, it's so sunny here right now. So up there, you see we got the trusses we can nail or screw the plywood to, but we need a nailer all along that surface over there. We need it right along over here as well. Now they put little 2x6 blocks to go ahead and nail the truss to keep it straight going across there. You see there's a small block there. What would have been easier is to just go ahead, or would have been more, the way I would do it, is just run a full, you know, go right down 12 foot or 16 foot and do the whole length of it. That way you've got a nailing surface to adhere, to affix the plywood or whatever you're putting up there. So those are just a couple of things that I would say. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the pressure treated boards that are going to go in these doorways here, maybe a 1/2 inch short. So they'll go from the header up here, come down as a jack. And again, this isn't perfect, but it's, you see they did circular saw here. And I took off some of it. Some of it's too shy. But you see they cut into the frame. But you can put it right down to the concrete itself. But my thought is having it lift up just a small amount, and that way there's a little less wicking underneath, coming up on the base of this board. Again, no nailer here. No nailer here, you know. They did put the nailer here, so this is what it would look like. So when they put the plywood on this surface here. So it's the little things that make the finishers make the job much easier. When you're framing, I consider that part of the framing process. You know, again, they're in a rush. They're on the phone. You know, just not ideal. Again, nailers here, and I reminded them about it, but I thought that they would just go ahead and put them all around. Now here, that really isn't a surface to nail to, so we'll have to scab on. Just a 2x4 right up against here will work just fine. But you can't, you don't want to be toe nailing your plywood in there. You know, and I may want a receptacle here. So who knows? I hope this is just things to think about when you're having someone build your buildings for you. Anyways, I'm going to get back to work.
In the stillness of the morning light, I walk the land, taking the sight. Every leaf, every blade of grass tells a story of the seasons past. With open eyes and an open heart, I take a step, make a start, learning from the earth beneath my feet, where the sun shines, where the shadows meet.
Observe and interact, that's the way. Nature's wisdom guides the day. Listen to the wind, watch the trees, feel the rhythm of the breeze. Observe and interact, that's the key to living in harmony.
The song of birds, the buzzing bees, teach the lessons of the trees. Each connection, every sign forms the patterns clear and kind. With patience now and with care, I see the answers everywhere. In the whisper of the flowing stream, nature's voice, a gentle dream.
Observe and interact, that's the way. Nature's wisdom guides the day. Listen to the wind, watch the trees, feel the rhythm of the breeze. Observe and interact, that's the key to living in harmony.
In the dance of life we find our place, learning from nature's grace. Every moment, every glance, an invitation to enhance.
Observe and interact, that's the way. Nature's wisdom guides the day. Listen to the wind, watch the trees, feel the rhythm of the breeze. Observe and interact, that's the key to living in harmony.
So take a moment, take it slow. Let the natural rhythms flow. Observe and interact and you'll see the beauty of life's synergy. Observe and interact and you'll find a world of wonder intertwined.
Well, things went fairly well today, given all parameters, everything that turned on. So I did get things stacked up in various locations, put more lumber here. I've been using it up as I've been doing and I still haven't cleaned up the mess here. And some of the lumber's over here that's going to get cut up. Some of the plywood that I took off of one of the stacks I've been setting here to decide what's usable and all. I'm one of those guys who tends to hold on to things as long as I can and try to save it. And then it rots when something happens like the building collapse. So far so good. I have been able to get some of the most of the door jambs up and all. So we got slight gap underneath them, but that's the way they look now at this point. Had to put the ice and water membrane around there. and I had to cut out, make a notch for in this section for this one to go. I'll probably have to do the same thing on the other one. Had to do a lot of trimming of plywood around the doors. You know, they did a fair job, and a couple of nails in there as well. So just had to do some prep work before getting these, the most internal jam set. So it is coming. It's just coming slowly. I do like using the router technique for getting things set and all. So I can start putting some of these doors in. I've got to get one more door over there done. Let's see, so these ones went in okay. Had to trim, and it is a pain when you're way up there. I didn't want to get ratchet out, so I used the ladder to get up there and trim out the plywood around those. And got this one set here. So I still have to do this one down here. And so if all goes well tomorrow, I'll get this one done. And I'll have to notch this one out a little bit as well, so you can see this one's neater than the other side. So we'll get that notched out and get this this jam in as well. So yeah, things are going well. I get frustrated. It takes me so darn long, you know, and it's, if you rush this, you miss something like the plywood sticking out a little bit, and that little bit would push that that jam board out a little bit, which wouldn't be a great seal. So there's a ton more to do, and I'm slow, but I am making progress. Each day we're making progress. So, and the piles are getting lower. I'm going to have to figure, I go through and take inventory on all the materials after I get like the trims that I've got to get up. And what I mean by trim, I don't mean trim. That's a bad term. The nailing surfaces for the inside areas and all. So I've got to make sure I go around and get all of those up. Sorry, I got a little bit of an itch in the back of my head. Great video I'm making today, huh? And then I can start marking out my bracing for the trusses, the additional bracing that I want to do up there. So I'm like trying to figure things out. I do need to get these doors in. So getting the jam set first, then maybe starting to get some of the doors in. Maybe that should be the next thing I should start doing. And then start doing, not trim, but the nailing surfaces around, then marking for the truss braces and all. And yeah, I guess that's probably the order that I should move in. Anyways, just thinking out loud, sharing my thought processes. It's all subject to change, of course. And hopefully all the doors are in good shape, because I left them in their boxes out there, and they are covered up, so they've stayed dry. So fingers crossed things will work out. So I guess that's about it for this video, folks. I hope there was something worthwhile watching in this process. I'm not sure, I didn't record that much, but I recorded some stuff. So anyways, stay safe, take care, have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye now.